Hi everyone, Dr. Nemechek here again with this week's viewers' questions answered. As usual, any questions that are put in the comment section, I'll try to answer them there, but then the good ones I'll bring up and talk about here on a weekly basis. So, first, would your protocol work if one has Clostridium difficile and high calprotectin? My child's 5, autistic, nonverbal. Okay, so Clostridium difficile is a bacteria that can generally be harmless in the colon, but if it's growing at a higher rate, it'll start producing either toxin A and B or both, and is inflammatory. So what high calprotectin is, that's a chemical from white blood cells. So that means you have inflammation in the intestinal tract. And I forgot to add, this person followed up with me. This child also is producing the toxins. Okay, that makes that, and the calprotectin makes the whole difference here. This kid is potentially at risk for some big problems, and I told them, do not start the protocol. They need to see a gastroenterologist. This needs to be addressed by a specialist, and not some pediatrician or something else. This is a potentially very dangerous situation. Now, that being said, if there's no evidence of inflammation, if there's no toxin, and somebody just picks up a random culture of Clostridium difficile on a stool specimen, that could be totally harmless. Okay? Because it can live there. It can live there and not bother us. It's only when it grows out of control, starts making the toxin, and becomes inflammatory, that it can be dangerous. All right. Quick sec. Still struggling with, I lost my voice when I had COVID 2 months ago. I feel fine, but my voice has never come back. All right. Would you give Midodrine to a patient who's already severely anxious? Okay. Midodrine is a drug that will boost blood pressure to your head. Now, people will read, so Midodrine stimulates the nervous system to boost blood pressure. You have to think of nervous system as two places. One is in the brain, one is outside the brain. So we call it central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, all right? And I use this to boost pressure to your head. And that's, low pressure is brain fog, ADD, it stimulates anxiety, all sorts of stuff. So the anxiety is very likely due to low pressure. Now, what this person's worried about, I think, is Midodrine's a stimulant. Will it overstimulate the person and make them even more anxious? And I understand that. They just get a little lost on the words. If they were given Adderall or Ritalin, both of those stimulate the brain directly. Yes, that can make you much more anxious. But Midodrine does not penetrate the brain. It does not stimulate the brain. It stimulates your nervous system basically in the blood vessels outside of the brain. So no, Midodrine won't make people more anxious. And typically, when I'm using it for low blood pressure symptoms, plus that is manifesting as anxiety, their anxiety goes way down. So, hope that makes some sense. Dr. N, I have a question regarding extra virgin olive oil. Can we cook his food with it? I guess they're talking about their child. Or does it need to be consumed just by itself? Now, there's two important inflammatory aspects to extra virgin olive oil. There are these things called phenols, which the phenol count is 250, something like that. That's what gives it its strong flavor, and those are anti-inflammatory. And then there's oleic acid. This is an omega-9 fatty acid. This is what blocks the inflammation from vegetable oils, the oleic acid, not the phenols. When you cook it, the oleic acid content does not change. So that very important aspect that's blocking vegetable oil toxicity remains intact, whether it's cooked or whether it's raw. Now, you will lose some phenols if you cook with it. I really don't care. Okay, that's not the main reason why I'm giving it. I'm giving it because of the oleic acid content. And you need lots. I mean, your standard olive oil is about 70% or more oleic acid, which is very high. That's the level you need to protect yourself. So either way is fine, cooking or raw. Okay, I have many food sensitivities which cause erythema nodosum. All right. Can rifaximin for 14 days followed by berberine, oregano, and low FODMAP help with this? Okay. Erythema nodosum is a inflammatory condition, tends to show up on your shins, red, painful bumps. Okay. Other chronic inflammatory things can do this, but leaky gut can do this also. So the fact this person has a lot of food sensitivities, I think the leaky gut, and I should add there's another sentence in here, like whenever I eat food, it gets a lot worse and he has a lot of complications. So there's a lot of linkage to food and triggering this. Can rifaximin for 14 days help, followed by these other things? Now, berberine and oregano oil have been shown to suppress overgrowth a little bit. Berberine and oregano can suppress SIBO a little, enough to maybe help somebody's digestive symptoms and things like that. But back in the early, first 15 years of the protocol, as we were designing it, and we were testing everybody's brain, we did 4 brain tests on everybody coming in, every visit, every follow-up. This stuff wouldn't help. It wouldn't change it wouldn't help with recovery. It's just not that potent. Okay? And so now, pre-COVID, 14 days of rifaximin probably would have been enough to just reset the gut. Food sensitivities would go away, and this erythema nodosum would greatly improve, if not just disappear. All right? In the COVID era, though, I think COVID, it seems to be damaging the small intestine in people, causing it to not function correctly. Now people relapse very, very fast, and 14 days isn't enough. The vast majority of people need rifaximin for 3 to 4 months at a minimum before stopping it. You won't just relapse in a week or two. Okay? And so this little regimen won't work. He needs a good 4 months solid of rifaximin, and then trying to use that intermittently, plus the other aspects of the protocol. The common thing is my doctor won't give it to me. I know that's hard. You got to keep trying to find other doctors, or you come out here once and we get you all set up, and then I can help you for 18 months by telemedicine. And typically by then you're, certainly by half that time, most people, they're all fixed up, everything's good, and they got a bunch of rifaximin on the shelf. They don't need me anymore, because now they'll only need an occasional 10 days of rifaximin when they relapse. Okay. And lastly, my husband suffers from severe chronic migraines, has tried multiple other traditional approaches without success. We tried a 10-day course of rifaximin, but it didn't provide any benefit. Your protocol has dramatically helped my son. Why does it not help my husband? Okay, so all headaches from the modern research and just my experience are from low blood pressure into the scalp muscles. All headaches, with the exception of a sinus headache. Okay, all headaches from that. Also, the pain in the neck, the coat hanger pain, low pressure in the neck muscles. And that's due to, in the vast majority of people, autonomic dysfunction. Now, why did this not help? You got to do more than that, all right? And also, what my comments about prior, a 10-day course of rifaximin, which might have helped him a great deal before the COVID 5 years ago, it's just not enough now. You got to do like 4 months, plus fish and olive oil, plus everybody needs a 6-week course of glutamine in case you have this post-COVID enteropathy or post-COVID intestinal damage that's causing inflammation in long COVID. So his headaches could be from long COVID, basically. So you can't just do a little of this or that. You got to go all in. And again, I understand Doctors may not give you the rifaximin, but there isn't another way to do it. And that's where everybody's like struggling out there, because the doctors can't get it together and quit being afraid of one of the safest drugs on the market to give you more than just 14 days. Okay? So if you're really struggling, you're having trouble, people aren't really helping you, I know it's not cheap, just get out here for one visit. And we can get things set up, get you the prescriptions. You can get rifaximin inexpensively through these Canadian mail order pharmacies, which will even be cheaper now because they just got rid of they've just found that the tariffs that were placed on them were illegal. So the price is going to come back down, and we can help you and turn you around. Anyhow, that's all for today. Thanks for hanging in there with my voice. I hope someday it turns around. If not, maybe I'll be doing some voiceovers for cartoon characters or something. I don't know. But anyhow, you all have a good day, and talk to you next week. Bye.